8th Circle. In the utter dark, a waterfall of blood roars in the background, a dull, lifeless, eternal sound, broken only by the sudden piercing hiss of some unseen monster. But out of the shadows, footsteps reveal no monster, but a man, or what was once a man. Before your very eyes, his features contort, twist, becoming flaky and calcified, repulsive. His pupils metamorph into vertical slits, his tongue flicks, suddenly forked, and down he falls into the dust onto his belly. The end of his agonizing transformation, limbless, writhing, a creature of fangs and scales slithering off into the gloom in search of a victim. In place of the snake stands another person now, who turns heel and races away, the predator turned prey.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
This is the Malebolge, a circle of circles, a ring of concentric ditches. In the 7th ditch, known as the 7th Bolgia, the fraudulent, who preyed upon others through theft or tormented. What Dante witnesses there is amongst the strangest punishments envisioned in his Hades.
Let Libya boast no longer, for though its sands breed chiladrids, jaculi and pharians, syncriads, and two-headed amphisbabands. It never bred such a variety of vipers, no, not with all Ethiopia, and all the lands that lie by the Red Sea. Dang.
Why do the people here twist into the shapes of serpents? Why do they suddenly burst into flame at the bite of a reptile? And is it really among these twisted forms that we find our next hero of Final Fantasy VI? Allow me to introduce the epitome of the good guy, the zestful Locke Cole.
Treasure hunter and trail-worn traveler, searching the world over for relics of the past.
This treasure hunter, is generally cheery and ready for adventure. Locke selflessly offers to guide and protect Terra, as well as help out the Returners' rebellion fighting against the Empire.
Locke has worked hard to stymie the efforts of the Imperial troops in South Figaro, but now he desperately needs to escape.
However, even someone with his sunny disposition has faced great loss. He once loved a woman named Rachel, who tragically died. Her body was preserved, and Locke eventually secures the means to resurrect her using the Phoenix Magicite. But she only revives for a few moments, time enough for Rachel to tell Locke how happy he had made her in life. Despite the tragedies he suffered, Locke remains energetic and optimistic, always eager to help, or looking for the next opportunity to go undercover as a spy, or steal somebody's clothes. His hatred of the Empire and memories of Rachel keep him motivated to do whatever it takes to fight the good fight. He's one of the less gray characters in Final Fantasy VI, and his brand of thievery typically pitted him against the elite rather than the downtrodden. But Locke's smokescreen of treasure hunter, and I am doing finger quotes as hard as I possibly can, isn't going to pull the Moogle wool over our eyes, though. He's a thief, and that makes him one of the easier characters to place within Dante's Inferno. There in the lower hell, beneath the sins of the lion, the sins of the leopard find their place. Below violence, fraud is punished in its various forms, including seducers, hypocrites, simoniacs. One of the more unusual vices there, that's buying or selling of ecclesiastical privileges like pardons for profit. The Bolgia, meaning pit or trench in which thieves are punished, finds them perpetually attacked by reptiles which bind, wrap, and pierce their bodies, denying them use of their hands, which in life they use to rob their neighbors. Even more mysteriously, some of the thieves are transformed into reptiles in a painful bout of shape-shifting, only to seek out another thief to steal their body and take on their human shape again. Curiously, the incorporeal souls still possess a sense of the corporeal body, which can be so mutilated. Now, being viciously turned into a lizard seems extreme for forgetting to return a pen you walked out of the bank with because it was in your pocket, but Dante is thinking of crimes of grand larceny with the appearance of a named thief, one Vanni Fucci. the likes of robbing individuals of their hard-earned livelihoods, stealing the food of starving villagers, the lands of native peoples, the children from nursing mothers, the tyrannical denial of personal property, benefiting oneself by disrespecting the rights of others. Indeed, in the case of Mr. Fucci, blaming an innocent person for his crime and avoiding punishment in life only to find it in death. Thus, it's fitting that while under the sun these thieves preyed upon and stole the substance of others, so in their afterlife they have their own substance preyed upon and stolen, right down to their very bodies. Let it never be said that Dante wasn't creative with his penalties. Locke himself seems much too Robin Hood to appear among these endlessly malleable shades, though. Is stealing the authority to govern the world out from under a phenomenally cosmic-powered evil clown bad? Even Dante himself probably would have thought the answer obvious. But before we bid the treasure hunter adieu, though, I thought it was curious that there's a reference to the mythical phoenix right here in Dante's canto on the Thieves. That's right, Locke and Rachel are immortalized forever in this text symbolically. Coincidence? I think not. And you thought I was just being a little too harsh on good old Locke here. On passing through the 7th Bolgia in the 8th circle, Dante observes one of the thieves being immolated, burned to ashes where he stood, then rising from the heap in full form again. He writes,
"No mortal pen, however fast it flash over the page, could write down O or I as quickly as he flamed and fell in ash. And when he was dissolved into a heap upon the ground, the dust rose of itself and immediately resumed its former shape. Precisely so, philosophers declare, the phoenix dies and then is born again when it approaches its 500th year."
The poet uses this hopeful imagery of the phoenix, a symbol of rising again after death, being reborn, for the spirits of those who will have no such future. But for Locke, the game in which he appears is not so hopeless as that. As with many characters in Final Fantasy VI, his is an arc of hope, overcoming the trauma of the past, and in his case, letting go of guilt by being forgiven and forgiving oneself. How else could one be born again?
I'll never let go. I promise.
And so we leave behind the 8th circle and trade the forked tongue for a silver one in our next episode on the King and the Womanizer. But that is a story for another day.